Hello and welcome to the DFS_PhD show, the Sunday Showdown Show. Remember, you're good enough, you're strong enough, and gosh darn it, somebody's got to win that money. Kind of a lot of money out there on this Sunday, even for the showdown, starting really early in the morning. I think it's six figures. I think 100K early in the morning. I'll get my beak wet on that one. We are setting up a Discord now just to kind of streamline comments. I've been missing them. Sorry about that, on various, like a YouTube comment here or a Twitter reply there. So let's have Discord just be like that's where I'm already getting comments in last second with other people in other Discords. So good way to kind of get that out there. And somebody asked for it. It's not the first time, but it's the first time I was like, oh yeah, I don't really have a reason not to do that. So we've got that. Now let's review the last showdown slate there was, which was Thursday Night Football. I called the game like I usually do, starting with the beginning. Godolph has really been separating himself, getting in the top with McLovin and all the other guys. Awesome-o. Dalladino, that was good. Jamie 27, another person who's not ranked and is not on Twitter. Oh, William Z. Nice. I think I've been seeing him commenting and stuff. I think he's pretty sharp, even though, yeah, look at that, getting on the list with 127. I hadn't even noticed that before I called that out. But anytime you're on this list with significantly less than 150, very impressive. You've done a great job. Like I was telling my wife just now, I was remembering back to game one of the finals when I was just doing this for myself and wasn't tweeting about it to you guys. I was just looking at it. I found out that I was in the top 10 of uniques on 90 entries. And I was like, ooh, I was like going around the house because I knew the Haywood Highsmith call had been great. This is, by the way, the first day you can reasonably play Haywood Highsmith since the big day, so it's good to see him again. Will I probably be doing it? No. Will it be after lock when I put this video out? Yes. So it's not giving you any sort of advantage. Sorry about that. But let's see. Everybody left about. You can see what was I telling you guys to leave on the slate. Pretty similar range to that, right? 45 to 48K is what I was saying optimal would be. And you see some averages from Anguilla was 46K. And by the way, that was very interesting how he got it was not unreasonable the way that he got unique and probably did better than almost everybody else on the list because he was way, way, way overweight to Mahomes and Kelsey. And everybody else, like McLovin, the second on the list, full faded Mahomes and Kelsey captain. So pretty cool. I mean, like the top two on this list, both I would say probably they do have the most unique chances at the million. Played the slate entirely differently. It was a beautiful, beautiful slate for that. Even if at the end of the day, the medium dupe guys win, so they're not at the top of this list. They're in the middle of this list. And yeah, 69K is nothing to turn your nose up at, man. I mean, even if you were maxing that slate, what was that? Like 3K? So 33x return? That's pretty good. I mean, let's not, I've been trying to not let the fact that this unique list is interesting to me and that I want to be like a millionaire at this point in my life to change to recognize like where is actual optimal ROI, because actual optimal ROI includes lineups like these. That's why, and this is I have another slide here before we get to the actual showdown. I found this is by Sports Proj. He's a great guy. He's who I get the unique analyzer from. So I download the contest data, I upload it to him, and then I break it down by this, by that, by the whatever, and the interesting way, top 25 of uniques or whatever that we're doing. And this is something he put out, I think in May or something. Was this before? Oh, wow, this was before I won all that money. So thank you, Sports Proj, for, I guess, informing my uniqueness. Calculations. So I've been a geometric mean guy, right? So when you limit the geometric mean of the ownership, you're assuming that there is independence between the events of choices in your lineup. But we all know people cram salary, and this is an example of how people cram salary. This is the dupes over expectation by salary in a UFC slate randomly a long time ago. And you can do it on any slate if you want to. It just takes like an hour or two of data analysis, so I'm not going to do it. But you get the I probably should do it for one NBA slate for you guys. Fine, I will do it because it's kind of fun. But the point is, dupes over expectation is very easy to calculate. And basically, it's around 49,800 is when you get to this zone right here, where for a little while, maybe like 200, 300, your estimate is reasonable. And then look, almost immediately, as soon as it was reasonable, if you're restricting in here and you've left more than $500 on the table, if you're being serious about your salary restriction, you're 50% below your bound. So if you were trying to win $100,000, your actual bound was bounding it to 150, which is a much higher bound. And I bring this up because when revisiting the Highsmith hit, I actually, if my geometric mean thing had worked properly that night, I wouldn't have won my money because that actually wound up being $90,000, which means the dupes were not technically right, which means that we were in some sort of zone here, probably overusing with Highsmith, overusing salary, whatever it was. The geometric mean ownership shouldn't have allowed the lineup because it had too many actual dupes. So it got me thinking I've been ridiculous about dupes because I was very happy with $90,000. I would have been happy with $60,000 yesterday. There's no point in pretending otherwise. I mean, the fact that I definitely was making sure those lineups were out of my pool, that's just because, yes, I like $60,000, but you know what's cooler than $60,000? $600,000, which was just as easy last night. A guy lost $600,000 on the last play, on the last interception. Can you imagine being that guy? Two guys were chopping it, and they lost it to a 17-18 train of 60Ks. Everybody getting what? Ford Silverados is what I was thinking. This is not a sponsored post, just something dumb you can blow 60K on is what I was thinking of. So anyway, no offense, like I was saying, to the mid dupe guys, but for me and my family, we are going to be playing this zone. I mean, leave more than $500 on the table, and then don't even worry about the expected ownership. You're going to be so different just by leaving salary on the table. Okay, now welcome to the actual day's slate, which I'm sure we're like 10 minutes into this video. Now, I've made a couple of weird projections. I always do this based on snap counts on Fantasy Pros and points per snap, also based on juju, like, what I feel like, right? So we'll just be honest about that. I'm pretty sure with Isaiah Likely, that was snap counts, though. Yeah, with all the tight ends and stuff, that's snap counts. With all the running backs, that's snap counts. I think with Gus, that was just like... So Justice Hill, this is just like if he gets the same work. So I don't understand what's going on with the Justice Hill. I mean, is somebody back that I missed? If so, disregard. But I think that Justice Hill looks great. And one thing that's always going to be true on a slate like this, Derrick Henry, 32% projected for 14 points. Ty J. Spear projected for half of his ownership. Do you guys know? Hey, just take a guess. You haven't looked at it, that's fine. It's not your thing. What's the breakdown of snaps in Tennessee this year? Is like, based on this projection, you would assume it's 2-to-1 Henry, right? But it is not. Well, it's not 2-to-1 Henry. It's 50-50. It's 56-50. They're running two down backs, so 50-50 basic coin flip. And you got what's his name projected for half basically of Henry. So for me, I got Ty J. Spears projected for almost the same as Henry, like 50-56. That's what it should be. I think Henry's probably running a little hot on variance. And Ty J. Spears he's got that Breece Hall factor, that Achane factor of he can make those guys miss that are top level guys defensively, which is really, really fun to watch. So I'm going to be heavy on Ty J. Spears as well. Did I say all the weird things I did here? Yeah. Our running backs for Baltimore seem to be underprojected. And yeah, so as a result, I assume in captain, yep, Gus Edwards. How much Chig? Not much Chig. Really ramming it through on that Justice Hill projection difference. Yep, that makes sense. I'm not going to go quite up to 47%, but I'll go to 25% on that Justice Hill call. I believe in it, but yeah, 25%. I don't lose all my money on one call. Ty J. Spears, same deal. I don't want to, let's not just shift over that call to him. 15% is about how much I believe in that call. I think it's a reasonable chance that he gets all of the touchdown variance in about 1 in 8 games. Down here we got Kyle Phillips captain lineup popping. That's fun. So Chris Moore and Isaiah Likely, I think, are definitely in play. I think it's weird getting to Kyle Phillips instead of Chris Moore. It's way more likely that Chris Moore hits to me. So I'll probably just click out of the Phillips lineup. I don't know. That's so fun. Whenever I'm doing a sample 150 here. This is the early game on Sunday. I'm not going to do 150. This is just for you 150 maxers. I noticed a fair number of you are watching because I do the list, and so you watch the thing. So I want to tell you what I would do if I had 150. I will probably do 20. I have a pretty good $1 and $3 for a lot of these competitions. So we'll see how I'm feeling. I do like a lot of these weird calls. I'm definitely going to take a shot or two at the 100,000 with some weird captain here from my list. I could not. That's right. I didn't wind up goosing Chris more. And I want to. All right. So I wanted to goose him. I didn't. Now, my leans, my actual calls. Obviously, you get some Lamar, you get some Mark Andrews, some Zay Flowers, whatever. The rest is boring. The rest of it. Do the rest of it to your heart's content. DeAndre, yeah. I told you the interesting parts for me, my calls. And yeah. All right, let's do the nighttime show. All right, so for the nighttime one, that is Buffalo and Giants. Oh, fun slate. Love a slate like this. So what did I do? I did some weird stuff here as well. I didn't add any rules, by the way. No rules, just right out here at this time. So let me confirm. I don't remember adding rules. Yeah, I did not add a rule. But I did buff a lot of things on this slate. I buffed Tyrod Taylor. I believe that Tyrod Taylor is at least as good as Daniel Jones, and I think Daniel Jones has had kind of a down year. I think Buffalo is going to push the pace in this game one way or another. I think Tyrod Taylor has better legs. I think you can buff him significantly. I think he's clearly, after Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, the third best play of the slate. Raw points output expected. So I popped him pretty high to that level. Obviously, you're pulling points out of thin air. You got no real sample of what Tyrod's going to do in this offense. He's been on weird other teams. I don't think with the same coaching staff, but I don't pay enough attention for you to really trust that. Go look it up if you suspect that is right or wrong. I don't know what we're going to get out of Waller. As of this video, he is in, I think. So, pay attention to these receivers. I'm assuming they're all in, healthy, 100% go. If you get something different, obviously you got to do something different. Oh, right. But I did notice, I'm always looking at snap counts and share of targets and stuff. And we got 2-1 for the wide receivers on. We have a clear, just like we had clear 1 and 2 for Kansas City, even though it doesn't actually get there every game. You have a clear 1 and 2 for clear 1 and 2. I guess it's for the other team. Shift Control Tab. Yeah, a clear backup to Diggs in Sherfield and Hardy. What was it? Well. Oh. Okay, hold on. I have Slayton and Wandale projected for more than Hodgins and Campbell. That's what I was trying to say. Slayton and Wandale. So it's like Slayton and Wandale. Yeah, projected for more than Campbell and Hyatt. That's probably based on the most recent week. Yeah, it's based on, right. I did a custom thing from weeks like whenever they've had this basic rotation. And I think in those weeks, it wound up being a clear discrepancy between Slayton and Robinson and Hyatt and Hodgins. So I have reflected the discrepancy in snaps in points. So Slayton and Wandale and Hodgins and Campbell. Is that backwards? Slayton, no, that is exactly right. Okay, good. Just making sure I didn't set those wrong. And then you got your weird values if you want to play them. I mean, Sherfield's way, 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 way too cheap. Definitely getting to back up the truck levels of Sherfield, which is 3x. I will have back up the truck levels of Sherfield. I assume I have Sherfield captain. If I don't, I'm clicking it right now. Yes, I have a little bit. I have a sprinkle of Sherfield captain. I have a sprinkle of Hardy captain. Beyond that, our mega captains are obviously Tyrod Taylor. I just told you I'm bumping his projection way higher than anybody else has it. So obviously that is the result. That is the result I would expect. I think as a quarterback captain goes, he has a higher than expected chance of getting there. Same with Josh Allen. So both of these being higher than average feels fishy. I don't normally like to do it, but on this slate, I'll do it. Did I do the right build settings? Yes, 45 to 48K. So I don't think it matters that I'm being fishy at captain. I think it's fine. I really liked that from Mangione. I really liked that. I thought that was sharp. So he's like, some of the risks he takes, I don't always like. But to go overweight to Kelsey and Mahomes at captain and to get there with salary restriction, that was sharp. That was sharp to lead the field that way. So didn't work out for him that night, but it got me thinking, and that's how we're gonna be there this week for sure. Don't like 5% Bills captain. Given the situation, you got to keep him in there. And so I don't want to play too much Bills flex. I want to play a reasonable amount of Bills flex because I think they're going to be massive. I don't think 30% is right. Yeah, a reasonable amount of Bills flex. Okay, as long as we're not jamming Bills flex. That's not where I want to be. The defense, that's for if you can't see on the video. We're assuming Saquon's in. If he's not in, obviously you do the regular Breida thing, but probably not an issue. Probably need to be having a lot of Saquon. I don't think Saquon's going to be 8% captain. I think he'll be higher than that. So I don't know. I guess, yeah, if I rank it by percentages, that's, yeah, okay, 8%. Maybe that's a little low, but no, I can't. I can't get too much. I'm not going to jam Saquon captain. If I don't get there, I don't get there. He's overpriced for his expected role in the game. Obviously, he's going to get a lot of role in the game. So if you feel like what I said there is wrong, which I kind of do when I say it, you should follow your heart on that. Do I have enough Allen and Taylor combined? So let's add it up. 99% in flex and 47. So 146%. So 46% to quarterback lineups. Sure. Seems about optimal. I think it's 23% optimal. So it's way over the field on actual optimal, like for long term. But I think for these two quarterbacks in this specific circumstance, you got two running quarterbacks. There's not like a circumstance. It's not like a wind thing. It's just that the Giants are bad, and so I don't know how this game will wind up. I think we have a lot of guys who it's fair. I haven't set everybody's projections to zero that I normally would. Your Gary Brightwells, your Shakir's, guys who probably aren't on the field in a regular circumstance. Damian Harris, because is this the game where you get the Damian Harris upside game? Could be the game where you get the Damian Harris upside game. So, and these are just inferred from their time on the field. So when you see me slightly tweaking it from SaberSim, that's me using their snap counts to infer their future projections instead of their past performance, which I don't think when you have a small sample, I think it's better to use the thing you have a bigger sample of, which is the snaps, right? So that's why I do it that way for now. Maybe eventually you could do targets for receivers, but you can't really do that for running backs or anything. All right, well, I got to get to looking at the NBA preseason slate for today and seeing if there's any late news. But I really enjoyed talking to you guys. You should like, comment, subscribe, join the Discord. It's great to it's great to have so many of you in there. I already got a couple dozen of you guys. And thanks again for making this video happen. It's always good to talk to you. Oh, right, you're good enough, you're strong enough, and gosh darn it, someone's got to win that money, and it might as well be us.